Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving to you all out there. Hope you had a great day, watched a lot of football. I hope your team won. I hope you ate a lot of turkey. Hope someone, you know, ate all the mashed potato and gravy because that's the best bit. Yeah, I hope you had a good day over there. Unfortunately, it's not a good day here because it's hot and we don't have any turkey. No one gave us any turkey, so there's no turkey here. We just have hot weather and uh, apparently murders. That's what we have here. We have homicides. Hold on, guys. I just got out of the gym and I was like, oh, I should jump on a little early just to chat with you guys for a couple of minutes while I set up for the show. So if I sound a little out of breath, it's because I literally just stepped out of my gym and I just was like, oh, I didn't realize Trish was off and you know should get this done and have a look. Yeah, all right. So there was an update into that Mordialloc murder S word, and I'm going to go more into it as we go throughout tonight. Let me set this up. This is this one. Not this one. Yeah, there we go. Apparently, I have to pay my bill for the Herald. I fixed it. I'll actually, I'll tell you an interesting story. Ah, the air conditioner has been broken for like a year, and I knew what the error was on the remote control, so I tried to fix it. I ordered the part from an air conditioning wholesaler, and I got the part. I took apart the entire aircon, installed the part, put it back together, and it didn't work. And I was like, ah, damn it. So I got the old part, cleaned it with alcohol, and let it dry, and it worked for like about a year. And then it died again about 2 months ago. So this time I replaced two other parts. I replaced the circuit board and the thermistor in the air conditioner, which means I had to undo the actual electrical wiring harness and get inside to the circuit board. And I put in a brand new thermistor, brand new circuit board, and it's been working pretty good. But I forgot to zip tie the new thermistor to the aircon. So it had been flapping around inside the air conditioner and it got caught on a piece of metal and it cut one of the wires. So I had to resolder it yesterday back together and kind of join it and then put a bit of tape around it. It's working fine. And I've had to order a new part to replace it. This time I will secure it. When I get the new part, I'll secure it. So can you get some window units probably a lot cheaper? Actually, the part was not that expensive. The part was about $5 and the circuit board was about $35. This is a full split system and does heating and cooling. It's just the temperature. What a thermistor is, it is a temperature probe that tells the air conditioner how hot or cold it is and how much to how cool you want it. Or so if you set it to 20 degrees, it'll tell it what the ambient temperature is. So that broke and I had to fix it. So but it works now. I've got it on now. It's nice and cold in here. It's not that hard, you know. The way I look at electronics are not much different to Lego. It really is that simple. Certain plugs only go into certain plugs. It's sort of like males and females. It works that way with electronics too. You either have a male plug or a female plug, or you have something you can solder to a certain point. Your gap in knowledge is what you're looking at. So if you could teach yourself to read wiring and circuit boards, which is not difficult, you could do it. You could do it yourself. That's a male mentality. That is true. That is true. That's true. Only some plugs go into some places. That's sort of the same way it works. Yeah. April B says, "Glad you have your." Yeah, it's hot. It's hot as Hot as a donkey's nuts out here right now. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good with electronics or certain handy stuff. I can do it. You get me to plumbing though, anything to do with water or actual electrical, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm done. As soon as you get to like 240 volts or something that carries water, I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. No more for me. I'm finished. I'll call the guy. I'll pay him. But if it's something simple, I can do it. Rachel says, great news. Hubby fixed our pellet heater this summer, got all the parts for 120 and a new stove was 1500. Yeah, some things you can fix. It's just, yeah, I don't play with anything that is mains voltage, anything that plugs into like, the actual electricity, I won't play with because I'm not smart enough. Yeah. I've done enough things with electronics to know not to mess with 240 volts of power. Yeah, it does. It does help, but you can teach yourself, I promise. You can a lot of this stuff is very simple. It is extremely simple. You can look up stuff like, aircon pixels. Like there's certain guides that you can get and they actually like have full photos and I can't remember what the website's called, but I can't remember, but there's a website that has like all the guides and that you need. Mrs. Ping is doing okay. She's she's waiting on a specialist in January. She's currently on a liquid diet, so that's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. A liquid diet. So that is making life very interesting. But the cats are okay. The cats are better today. They're not as angry. They're doing all right. All right. All right. Enough housekeeping. So that Mordialloc one from yesterday, it ended up being a 41-year-old Mordialloc woman. She was found dead alongside a 38-year-old male from St. Kilda, and they're saying he is the one who is suspected of carrying out the murder and then taking his own life. And that is horrific to hear that such young people. Hey, there's our friend Sherelle Moody. I tried to contact her to see if she could give me some advice for tonight's episode, but she's a really busy person. And while she does give me her time of day, sometimes she can't, you know, get me done very quick. Like she can't reply like super quick. And I get that. She's very, very busy. But she is very nice to me when I have asked for help before. So I always think that, we're all busy people. So, yeah, apparently she had got information yesterday and it said here, where is her little. She said she was contacted by someone who confirmed the awful allegations. And those allegations are witnesses told reporters at the scene they had approached a feuding couple, so a male and a female, around 11 a.m. on Thursday in an effort to ease the tension. So this was a very explosive argument between the two of them. They say here the male has taken his own life. Sherelle said, and she's quoted in this article, saying, I've confirmed they were separated. He contacted his mother telling her he planned on killing the woman that he did end up killing. And they had, apparently, according to Sherelle, they had divorced quite recently. And the discovery came after one of the victim, the female, I'm guessing it's a female, um, one of her colleagues from work, when she didn't show up to work, went to the property to look for her, and located the two people deceased at that property. Not what you want to hear about. Not what you want to hear about. We had Isla Bell recently. We've had other female deaths throughout the year. We've had all sorts of crimes perpetrated against women. I often joke that maybe we should change the channel to how are women killed in the world? That's what I should change the title to because I feel like that's all we ever report is violence against women. So this is going to lead me into my second part two. I wanted to show you something, and this comes from the Australian Institute of Criminology. And I want to show you how vast some of these numbers are. All right, let's go up here. Victims of homicide. All right, no, not that one. Where is it? All right, so we're gonna take a look. This is for Australia, not for America, but you know, you could apply it to your population. Just change the numbers to 1 million, not 100,000, and you'll get a closer representation probably. All right, here. All right, so this is a graph I posted on social media just before. And you can see here that per 100,000 population or per 1,000 capita, they're saying here, you know, there's one woman or just over 1.15 per 100,000. So that's a lot of people when we have, what is it, 28 million people here? 28 Australian. 27 million. So times that by 27. 27? No. Yes? Ping's mass may be a little off, but we'll just go with that for now. As you can see, since the 1990s, while the rate has gone down, there are some influencing factors, and you see these spikes in the data here, and you see like all throughout here. This one's very interesting, sort of like between 1993 and 1994 and around 95 to 96. You see these spikes here. The country in Australia was coming out of a recession in the early 90s. Money was still really tight. Interest rates were still somewhat high. And I find it interesting that the rate spiked around when financial pressures were a lot higher. And you sort of see it here too. Starting in around '08, you see a slight dip into '10, but around when those, you know, we had that financial crash, you see the other side of it, you get a raise in data again. And it seems to tie up with any time our society has some sort of issue where, you know, belts are tightening, households have less money, and there's a lot more arguments between couples. Not saying that's a reason or a justification for hurting women. I'm just saying it seems that the data is showing us that during these financial times where there's problems, and the reason I'm bringing that up is what's going on right now. We're all in a financial pressure right now because of the inflation, interest rates, stuff like that. And this chart actually ends at 2023 last year. But what do you see at the end of 2022 and 2023? You see an uprising here. I don't know what the data will bear out for the next 12 months, but I suspect it's going to go up. You see it going up. And what do you see in male homicide? Male homicide going down, but women going up. So this is just when that inflation started to bite. So when that inflationary figures started to hurt households over the last 24 months, you're seeing an increase in female homicide. Now, while the average number has decreased over the years, you see at a spike of around 1, it's down around, I don't know, like 1.45, something like that roughly would be the average or something, 1.5. No, well, not 1.5, 0.5. You are seeing that uptick here. You can see it came down just after we started coming out of the pandemic 19 to 20 to 21, and it was a bit of a raise up. And then as we came out of the pandemic, it fell sharply. And then we had a bit of a flat period near the end of all that. But now, since that inflationary stuff started happening again, that rate seems to be slightly going back up again. It's concerning considering all the female deaths we've had this year. I'm sure if you ask, you could probably ask Sherelle on Twitter or Facebook what she thinks, and I would say she would probably agree that the financial problems in the last couple of years have been major stressors to relationships and partner violence. Can you juxtapose that with self-deletion rates in males? I don't know if it has it, but I can show you some other interesting things. This is location of where the homicide took place. And you see here, residential in most states in Australia is the highest, 129 homicides. And then what's the other one? In the community, 67. And then the third one is other. Is that right? 1, 2, no, the third one would be street/footpath. There's like it's crazy. Victim's home, residential, and then community, and then what is that? Yeah, street/footpath, and then after that, other home. So they're all very close to where people live, either your footpath outside or a different place nearby in the community, um, in the offender's home, the victim's home. But the majority, if you look between here, offender's home, not that high, only 13 total. You look here, victim's home is much more, almost a 5 times increase in where these homicides take place. You're up at a total of 78. And then in the community is also pretty high as well at 67. It's very interesting. Like you look at some of these other ones, a motor vehicle. Well, it does happen, but not very frequently. You only have 3, 1, and 0, and then 0, 0, 0, 0. So not that often. Mental health slash psychiatric facility. There was one. And that is in the Canberra, ACT. One. A healthcare facility, 0 across the board. A correctional facility, just one. A short stay accommodation, one. So you can see that the majority of this is happening near people's homes or within their community. So that does make a lot of sense. It does. And let's see. Okay, incidents of homicide by apparent motive. Argument of domestic nature. 33. 33. Other argument, 28. Is that the highest numbers? Unknown is around the same, but for known reasons, argument of domestic nature and other argument. Dispute over money, only 3. Jealousy, only 2, and revenge is 4. Dispute over drugs, 7. Sexual vilification or sexual gratification, 0. Mercy killing slash S word, only 2. Mistaken identity, 0. Apparently delusional, 8. I don't know why that is so high, but okay. And then it says incidents of homicide committed in the course of another crime. Preceding crime, quite high. No preceding crime, it's quite a high number, total 109. And then preceding crime is about 50% of that at 48. So it's about almost just under half. So if you were just under half the number of no preceding crime when committing a homicide. So that tells you that the majority of homicides that happen are a single event crime. So it's not like they're doing some other thing like a break and enter and then killing people. The majority of them are that is the direction. The direction is they wanted to kill that person, and then about 45% of that is there was some preceding crime before it. It's very interesting. And here we have instrument used or weapon, and I think people in America may find this very interesting, being that it is Australia. So what is the highest number here? Weapon used, 55, 199, the highest number on the chart, 199. And then what's the second one? 85, a knife or other sharp instrument. And then does it have firearm? Firearm, a total of Australia-wide 26. So very interesting, but it just has a blank statement as weapon used. It could be anything. It could be a firearm, could be a knife, could be a javelin, who knows? But they just have it as weapon used. So in a majority of homicides, a weapon is common. It says here Queensland had one case of poisoning. I find it interesting that Victoria does not, but we know of Erin Patterson. She killed allegedly 3 people with mushrooms, and it's not listed in the data. So we may have to wait for. See, this is 2022 to 2023. We may have to wait for 2023 to 2024, and then maybe we'll get in the poisoning one, we'll see more about Erin Patterson. Victims of homicide. This is a good one. They said between 2022 and 2023, there were 247 victims of homicide, an increase of 13 victims from the previous period. Of these, most of the victims of murder, 82%. Most of them were victims of murder, 82%, while 15% were victims of manslaughter. And there were 7 victims for which the most serious offense was not stated or unknown. So we can see here the murder rate for males in New South Wales 1.16, female 0.41. And you'll go, wait, Ping, you just spent ages telling us about how, female homicide and partner violence is like this big thing in society. Well, it is. And it is an increasing concern due to the things like the ones we talk about. But I'll show you down here if I can find the other chart. Yeah, here. Victims of homicide by sex from 1989 to 1990 to 2022 to 2023 rate per 100,000. Male is quite high. Even in the last few years, it's been at around, I would put this at like what, 1.2, something like that, 1.2 per 100,000. And the female, no, that can't be right. What is this? Sorry, Ping's mental. Don't listen to him. Oh, like 1.75, 1 point something like that. And the female one slightly below that in this area here where the green line is. Because most males, the circumstances for male homicide tend to be different. The male homicide tends to be someone else attacking them for, who knows? It could be like a drug deal. It could be something they've done. It could be a fight between 2 people. It could be gang related, that type of thing. But mostly the female homicide, most of these numbers are partner violence. And that's why it's so concerning. The male one is very fragmented over different areas, crime, gang related, street stuff, or just family. There are males that are killed within families and some DV against males, but it's very fragmented, as where a lot of the female ones are attributed to partner violence, which is concerning. But there is a slowdown over the last 30 years, but the numbers are still pretty high. You can see they've come down a little bit. The top here, 2.5. The male one's down just under 2.0 now. It's coming down. But you see the change here, right? Between 2022 and 2023 and continuing, the male one is coming down and the female one is sharply going up again. So that is why everyone is concerned. They say most victims of homicide in Australia are male. They're saying between 1989 and 1990 to now, 6,404 male victims of homicide were recorded. And they said in 2022 to 2023, males comprised of almost 70% of homicide victims, and females comprised around 30%. The sex of one homicide victim was not stated or unknown. The male victimization rate was 1.29%. I said 1.20. I was pretty close. 1.29 per 100,000. They're saying that is a decrease from the rate recorded the previous year, which was 1.36. The female victimization rate increased from 0.45 per 100,000 to 0.56 the following year. The male and female homicide victimization rates vary from year to year, but largely declined between 1989 and 2022 to 2023. The rate of male homicide victimization halved during this period, and the rate of female homicide victimization decreased by 58%. So it's a good thing, but it's good that we're seeing some, downturn in it, but, it still happens quite a lot. Yeah. Male victim, female offender, only 21 between 2022 and 2023. A male victim and a male offender, 131. Much more, almost a 6 or 7 times increase over female. And then you look at female victim and male offender, it's staggering. Look, 60 female to female violence is only 9. So a lot less when you look at the totals here. You see the discrepancy between either side. It's very interesting. This goes into child. Look, I think the one thing that shows you here, especially when you get into the 18 plus range, it almost shows you that there really isn't a age where this doesn't affect, except there is a bit of a drop over 55, but then in 65 and over, it jumps back up again. That might be an anomaly. Maybe just this reporting period, there wasn't very many in the 55 to 60, 55 to 64. Maybe there was a down year. But you can see mostly it's pretty consistent. So it shows you that it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you are male or female, you could be, you could be a victim of homicide. There is no age where it magically goes away. It's all very much the same, which is very sad. Victim relationship with primary offender. They're saying here there were 221 victims from 208 cleared homicide incidents in the year 2022 to 2023. The remaining 26 were killed in incidents that had not been cleared. They're saying 69% of victims from cleared incidents knew the primary offender. Interesting, right? While stranger killings were only 17%. That's that statistic they always tell us that it's more likely you're going to see it from someone you know, not a stranger. A stranger was like, look how much different that is. You're talking almost 70% knew the primary offender, only 17 was a stranger. That's that's amazing. And that's why we talk about in homicides that are unsolved, we're like, we really got to start again and look at the people closest to the victim, because that's where the data tells us most likely the offender will be. Don't start going, oh, it was the guy and he came, must be a Russian, must be a Russian hitman that came all the way from Russia and killed this guy in the middle of Kansas in July. Like, probably not. Probably not. The data tells us that probably no. Probably that's not going to happen. Not, maybe, but the data tells us most likely people are killed by people they know. Anyway, I found this very interesting. It's very in depth. You can go even deeper into the data, and you can see relationships between different victims. So male and female, intimate partner, only 4 homicides. Female victim, 34. 34 compared to 4 for men. So the how often are men killed by their intimate partner? That could be gay people or straight people. Only 4. But if you're a female victim, it goes up like almost 10 times the rate of the male one. Actually, let's have a look here. That's interesting. A male victim is more likely to be killed by their child than they are their intimate partner, according to the data. More likely to be killed by your kid than by your wife or husband if you're gay, if you're a gay person. I find that very interesting. As where it's almost a reverse for women. Female victim, and then it's a child. If the child, it's only three. So it's interesting how those figures flip over between male and female, right? And then a parent is 9 and 7, pretty even for male and female on that one. A sibling, male had 4, female had 0. Interesting. Other relative friend, male 9, female 0. If it was a friend, that's interesting. New primary offender, male 98. Female 54. So mostly men knew their primary offender. A stranger 28 for men, and women 9. Interesting. Men also have a high number for an acquaintance. So 31 homicides were done by an acquaintance. Interesting. Neighbors, housemate, or work colleague, very even, sort of, for male and female. Male 9, female 5. Sort of double, but, you know, sort of in the realm of the same numbers. Gang member, male 4, female 0. So you can kind of see the overlay there between males and females and the relationships between the primary offender. Now here, child. I want to see the flip way, the other way. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it for the US data, but this is definitely for Australia. Gayla says maybe we learn to walk instead of lashing out away more than men. Maybe. You'd hope so anyway. But I just wanted to show you this in the here. So if you look here, this is very interesting. Female victim, male offender. So female victim, male offender, intimate partner, 34. Male victim, male offender, intimate partner, 0. Male victim, female offender, only 4. You see that it's just such a huge number compared to the other ones in this row, right? So anything else other than female victim, male offender is negligible or 0. It's very interesting. See, like I told you, the male statistics are very fragmented. They're from other relationships. They're from other parts of their life. They could be gang related, crime related. They could be killed by someone in a bar fight, on a train station. Someone could hit them or something. Very different way of homicide compared to female. Female ones tend to be very much relationship targeted. These are indigenous victims, probably a very high rate. It is very high. That's very sad that they seem to have a victims of female 3 point. So there's higher rates inside the indigenous community, right? Yeah. Indigenous, non-indigenous, they have a 7.3 per 100,000 for male. In the non-indigenous, it's only 1.04, a 7-time increase if you're indigenous. Same with female. Female has a rate of 3.07 per 100,000. If you're non-indigenous, it's only 0.45. So you can see the increases whether you're a non-indigenous person or you're an indigenous / Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. Your rates go through the roof. So not just are you a female or a male, but then your homicide, you know, it's so much more than everyone else. It's very sad. Let's see, indigenous homicide. Yeah, we already did that. Relationship with primary offender. This is for indigenous. That's okay. We've done a lot on that. Indigenous. Okay. Yeah, non-indigenous homicide victims by age and sex. All right. Male, where's the largest number here? Just adult. Adult, 120. But 18 to 24 has the highest number for homicide. Interesting. 18 to 24 is 24 victims, but females is 35 to 44. And then the next one after that is 65 and over. So between 35 and 44 and then 65 and over are your two danger ranges for females. That's interesting. That I would have thought it would be younger women between 18 and say 35, but no, even if you add up that what's that? 3 8 wait, no. Yeah, 3 and then 8. What's that? 11. Yeah, it's still less. So even if you combine two age groups, 18 to 24, 25 to 34, it still doesn't beat out 35 to 44. That 9 years. It doesn't. That seems to be the massive range for females, at least. And then you have a almost equally large on the 65 and over. So same thing here, 45 to 50, 54, 55 to 64, 8 plus 16, that's 14. It still doesn't beat out that one, which is 15. Only by one, but you can see even if you added the two age groups together, it only barely makes up that same targeted range of 65 and over. So, very interesting statistics. Right, it does, doesn't it? Around that 35 to 44, especially if you had children in your 20s or 30s, and then you were going through a divorce or separation, it looks like your targeted homicide rate is much higher. So you can see. So I just hope that gives you some insight into the numbers and how this works, especially with the female partner violence. I've heard a lot of people brag, not brag, but just talk rubbish saying, "Oh, but the female numbers are so much lower than male." But it's not about that. It's about how they're dying. And the majority of their deaths are because of an intimate partner. You can't say the same for a male. So a male is killed in other fragmented, many different ways, even though they are the larger portion of homicide figures. But the majority of females are killed by their partner. That is the problem because we'd like to see that reduced. It's not like we can have a targeted campaign at men saying, you better not join a gang. You better not go to the pub and fight anyone. And you better not walk home late at night because someone might stab you in the train station of, in the city. Or you better not, fight that guy at the pub for, an insult or whatever, touching his woman or something. You better not join a gang. Like, it's a very hard way to target men homicide, as where we can target the female one because it's the male offenders for the majority who are hurting these women. So there's something we can do about that, and it is changeable. That's what is very interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen numbers as deep as this for the USA, but I think it would be easy to overlay this. All you would have to do is times the numbers and change them to an American population. So we only have 27 million people here. You just times this by whatever, metric that you need to. While it wouldn't be super accurate. It probably would give you an insight into the numbers for America if you couldn't find it. It may be a little higher or a little lower, but you could still find it. All right. So I hope that was insightful for you. And it's been a hell of a year with women uh being killed by their partners. It really has. It's just been, and then you see something like the one with this one in Mordialloc, and they're very young. They're my age. The female victim was what, 38, and the male was just in his early 40s. I mean, yeah, 41-year-old woman. Sorry, she was 41, and the male was only 38. It's so young, and for both of them, that he felt this was the best way to solve his problems rather than walk away. Gotta learn to walk away. For my men out there, it's not worth it. It's not worth hurting her. It doesn't make you a big man. It doesn't fix any of your problems. It's not going to do anything. And the men that hurt women, to me, are the people who they want an easy fight because they're too sad and too much of a, they're weak-minded themselves because they attack women. They're the first person to run from a fight from a guy because they know they won't win the fight, but they take it out on women because they don't, I don't know, control, easy target in their mind. Although I wouldn't fight any woman because I reckon they would beat me up. Because I reckon, you ever seen an angry woman? They'll get you. But in these particular homicides, it's the men overpowering these women, especially in relationships. It's hard to see. It really is. A lot of these people are someone's daughter, especially at 41. Her parents are probably still alive. They're now going to have to deal with losing their daughter to a violent homicide from her ex-husband. I mean, how do we target this more with the generations, and is it fixable with the generations that are already in their adult era, like my age? Is it fixable or is it not? And we have to start with the boys that are in primary school right now and hammer it home that you cannot, you know, this is not a way to solve problems. It's not a way to solve a divorce. It's not a way to solve whatever disagreement you have with a woman in a relationship. Clitus says, personally, I can say I've never ever slapped a man, though many needed it. I There's so many complexities to this, but that's why I'm being very general. There are some women out there that are abusive to their partners, and they have wound up dead. I don't deny that. That's happened, and we have it documented in the court system that there are some women out there who have been abusive to their partners, and the partner has killed them because of it. But it's a small minority. When if you look at the numbers, it's a very small minority. So I see a lot of men using that as an excuse to hit women or abuse women or whatever. No, the majority is quite small. I think it's like under 5% of all assaults and cases of abuse for female male in a relationship. It's like very tiny, 5%. I'm not sure if that's not because it's reported but it does happen. There are women that have been convicted of it. I just don't think it leads to a majority homicide for females um, being a male perpetrator in a relationship. But I have to say both sides. I mean, you have to be clear about what's going on. Yeah, and that's why it does make it somewhat hard because some of the messaging out there, it's not very good. Like, just today I was researching this particular topic and I was like, Let me check how like what's going on in the videos on social media and other places about relationships and males and females and it's a mess out there. It really is. You have these alpha male central channels that are like hyper masculine and you know um then you have these other ones that are like, pro female, but they're in a well, I would consider it a bad way. They're all like get money and screw men over and only marry rich and stuff. Like it's a mess up there. It's a I tried to get more information. I was like, what? They have to practice somewhere. They might not beat you up when you're awake. Hey, I got blamed. It was about I don't know, a few months ago. Mrs. Ping woke up very sad and she was really angry, and I was like, "Why are you angry?" And she's like, "You were cheating on me in my dreams." And I was like, "What do you mean I was cheating on you in your dream?" She's like, "I had a dream where you were sleeping with other women." And I'm like, "I'm not sleeping with anyone else but you. I don't know who you think I'm why would you even be thinking that?" And she's like, "Well, I'm mad." And I'm like, "I don't know." And I can't control your dreams. But she was so mad. And I was like, "Geez, I don't ever wanna do that in real life." Reby says, "I just asked ChatGPT where I could find the US unaliving stats. One place they said was good to look up was the CDC Wonder database." Okay, I can have a look. Yeah, CDC. It's their criminal no, that's not right. I'll look it up. Oh, yeah. It's the Center for Disease Control. They were all around in COVID and that. Here. Can we is this a drop down box or just a photo? Oh, I thought it was a drop down box. Oh, interactive chart? Yes. We would like that. Loading data. Okay, thank you. You have to actually do that though. Alright. Yeah. No, not that one. Can we get male to female? Data table, provisional. No, that doesn't really help us. I mean, it's an interesting graph. It shows you that um it shows you that the number doesn't really fluctuate. It's been pretty steady for at least this year, or at least what does it say here? Yeah, from 2018 to 2024, the numbers bear out that it's very similar. Around that 4,000 people mark per year die in the United States due to unaliving, if that makes sense. I can't say the real word, but you can see here, 4,000 people a month. Ping. You got to read the charts better, buddy. At least I think that's what they're trying. That is, yeah, 4,000. Yeah, it's very interesting. Is there any month which is lower? Actually, November, November. What about January? And January, the deep winter. I would have thought deep winter would have been the higher because more people are at home, they're locked up, they can't go out, it's more depressing. But it looks like the biggest ones are when they come out of winter in May and start moving into summer is when you get the majority. Weird. I wonder why that is. And then it drops back down towards the end of the year going into summer and Christmas and the holidays. That is very interesting. Glitter says, yes, you can control dreams ping. Well, we'll see. April B says, "Not a solution, but if people would try to give each other some space, go spend the night with a friend or family member." I think that's good. That's good. That's part of it. I think part of it is uh education around relationships and how, you know, for both male and female, that just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you have any inherent right or, control over someone. They are not like a piece of property that you own, that it is a partnership between two people, 50-50. And the more we educate on this and the more we make people understand, I think will help. But far too many people treat significant others as a piece of property and something to control and be like, oh, well, I don't want you doing that. Or, you know, oh, well, you broke up with me. I'm so mad. So let me hurt you. We've got to teach people to walk away. Divorce is not final. Like, I've heard of people that divorced, hated each other, got divorced, then figured out that they really did like each other, and then worked on their problems and got married again a few years later. So just remember that just because something seems so final doesn't always mean it is, and it doesn't mean your life is over. It just means this part of your chapter of your life is done, and you need to find a way to move forward, even if it is without that person. So I think the more we educate about that, the better it would be. Glitter says, "You're right there too. Last week, my son in law, that's very sad. I hate to hear that. Crime Data Explorer, they seem to have a dot. Yeah, I'd like to see it broken down by sex and year. Here, let's go FBI Crime Data Explorer. Let's see if we can get like a breakdown by perpetrator or something like that. And then we've got other stories we have to get to. Glitter says, my ex-husband was my ex-husband and ex-husband twice. Yeah, it does happen for some people. Gotta learn to teach people about finality and what that means in different situations. Just because this woman or man doesn't want you anymore doesn't mean you're never going to find someone else, even if it feels so final and definitive in that moment. People go on to marry other people all the time. There's people that have had 3 or 4 marriages. Just because this person doesn't want you anymore, you just have to accept that. It's a choice the other party has made, no matter how much it hurts. And it does hurt, but it's still a choice. You're not a partnership unless both people are bought in at the same time with the same intent. Once that finishes, the relationship is over. And there's nothing you can do, and there's nothing you can fight for or try and control or change their mind because they've already made that decision. So you just have to accept it, learn how to process that, and try and build a different life, even if it is without that person. And just know your value. It goes back to that. If they don't want you, then obviously they don't value you. Find someone else who does, and maybe look internally to why that relationship broke down. And then if there are flaws there that you can identify, maybe work on them so that if you do find another partner, you won't run into the same issue again because you've identified it and tried to fix it. So there you go. There's Ping's relationship advice. I don't know how good my advice is, but hey, that's what I think. Let's have a look. What do we got here? Yeah, let's go to this one. Why did it boot us out of that? I don't know why it booted us out of that. I have no idea why it booted us out of that photo, but okay. Oh, it's this thing. Piss off. FBI, you need some better servers. You need better servers, my friend. It's so slow. Come on. Rates. What is this? All violent offenses. No, that's not what we want. Where's the S word? Sorry, I have to check this out. Geez, really? This is the I word that is sort of, if you can't see it, it's spelled INCEST. I just wanted to see what the rates were. Pretty high, actually. What the hell? Oh, no, it's not. It's like 0.05 or 6% per population. Oh, okay. It's not that big, but the fact it's still reported at least one half a victim or something per year is astounding. Where's our S word? It's not here. Should be SU. What other name would it be under? Theft. Oh, because it's not a crime. Is it? Yeah, it's not a. It's not an offense, right? Weird that it's not on their chart. All violent offenses: homicide, R word, robbery, aggravated assault, property crime, individual offenses. This is where I thought it would be. It doesn't seem to be on the FBI one. Prostitution, shoplifting. No, I don't know what else it might be called. I'm gonna check the chat and see if anyone has an idea, but they don't seem to have it. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, whoa, whoa. Jeez. Okay, what is this? This is what? Okay, status. All right, let's have a look. Maybe this will help. So this tells us death by S word per 100,000 population, 1950 to 2022. It's interesting here. You actually see a sharp uptick from the year 2000, the millennium, but between 1950 and 2000, the rate actually fell by about, what is that, 3 points. By about 3 points. That's massive. But then between the year 2000 and what's that? 2018, you saw a sharp uptick to past levels in 1950. So 1950 was 13.2 per capita per population of 100,000, and then it went way up here to 14.2 in 2018. So it increased past those levels in the 1950s to the 1990s. It went way above there by 1 point, and then it dropped a bit during the pandemic, and then as we came out of the pandemic, it went up again to 14.1. So you saw a bit of a dip between those years, but it went back up again after everything opened back up, and the world went back to normal. Isn't that interesting? Oh, can we get per? No, can we get per year? I will go away. I don't want to pay. How much is this? £159 or euro. I'm not going to give you any euros. You can go away. 159 euro? That's a lot of money. Reby says, people often ask me why I never married. I always reply because I never found anyone that respected me more than I respect myself. That's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Gayla says I was married for 22 years until I found out he was dipping his wick in other candles and trying to lie about it. Yeah, trust me, if I it's just a no. Like when I'm in a relationship, I'm faithful to that person forever. Like until they give me a reason not to be, and then I'm out of there. Like that's it. I don't even give one chance. It's done. Because as far as I'm concerned, even a woman, a cheater is a cheater. That's it. I don't do it to my partners, and I expect the same. And if that ever happened to me, I'd just done. That's it. No second chances, no crying, no nothing. I'm out. That's it. I don't give second chances for that. To me, that's sacred. It's paramount. There is no other. You know, there's there's no explanation. There's no excuse. There's nothing that can ever rewrite that for me. I don't ask for much from my partners, but I ask for loyalty and to be faithful. If you're in a monogamous relationship, then that's all I ask for. You can't do that, then f off, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, can you break it down by sex, Glitter? Can you do male slash female for the 1950 to 2022? Reby says, I've had a great life being true to myself. Just have to put up with a lot of questions from traditionalist people. Need to find some cute guys, Reby, and just play the field. You don't have to get into any relationships. You can just meet cute guys. No, I don't ask her to do anything like that. She can wear what she wants. I don't care. She can do it. She's a free person. I don't really care. That's her choice. Like as long as she's not embarrassing me somehow, I don't really give a crap. Like I saw a video today, right? And it was a guy and a woman like in a relationship. They're in their 50s, and this girl and the wife, they're like, "Oh, we're ready to go out," and he's like, "All right, cool." And she's like, "Well, how do I look? Do I look good in this? This is a new outfit I bought." And he's like, "Do you want the husband answer or the wife answer?" And she's like, "What do you mean? Aren't they the same thing?" And he's like, "No, they're not." And she's like, "Well, I want the husband answer." And he's like, "You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, and you look fantastic in your new outfit." And then like 5 minutes go past, and then she's like, "I want to know the truth now." And he turns around and goes, "Yeah, I don't fucking care what you're wearing," and just walks away. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so true. That is so true." I mean, I give you the honest husband answer, which is you always look amazing, but I mean, I try and be truthful with her. If she's not sure about something, I'll give my input, but I'm very careful with what I say, and I don't use words like fat or thin or anything. I just say, hey, this one maybe not the right color, or I think you look better in a pink or something. I don't try and get too deep into that at all ever, but I try and be honest if she asks for it, but. I do agree that most of the time it's just like as long as you look alright and you're wearing clothes, it's fine. Like it's not a big deal. Like the other time she was late for going somewhere to an appointment, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't like the shirt I'm wearing." And I'm like, "It looks fine. You're gonna make yourself 15 minutes late because you don't like the shirt you're wearing." And she's like, "Yeah, but I just look weird in it." And I'm like, "It's a t-shirt. It's fine. You're okay." You can go to your appointment. Yeah, let me see if I can bring this up what Glitter sent me. Anyway, that video, that was funny because I was like, I can relate to that. Alright, let me see. Let me see if I can bring this up. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's something else. Alright. The population, that's what we saw on this one, 14.1 or 14.2. Most common for S word is firearm. The highest rate of it is in Montana, those aged between 15 and 19. Wow, that is not what I would have thought. It's around this the death for HIV is only 1.3, but the rate for S word is 14 times higher within the population of 100,000 people. Isn't that interesting? I find that interesting. All right, what does this say? Deaths by S word per 100,000 residents, population by gender. Yeah, so it shows you that for a long time, males outrank females by one, two, three, four, almost 4 times every recording year since 1950. The rate in females is only about 5% per 100,000 residents, but the rates for males is up around 20% or 20%, not percentage points, ping, people, 20 people per 100,000. The female's only about 5, between 5 and 6. So it's almost like a fourfold increase if you change to the male population per 100,000 residents. That is insane. I didn't know it was that big. The last one. Okay. Ah, yeah, that's the one we're on now, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, that's the one that's on the screen now. Rachel says, is that your partner you're saying? His wardrobe is 3 colors, black, gray, and maybe maroon. I literally have about 50 jumpers that are all this gray color. Like this gray color. They're all this color because it's my favorite jumper color. And I have like 50 of them. Although I have a couple black and a couple other colors, but mostly gray. Guys are very you know, they're just like black, gray, brown, maybe a cream color if we're feeling fancy. That's about it. Although I have a orange t-shirt that's very summery. Although I don't wear it on the show. Glitter says, I think the statistics are fascinating. Me too. Marilyn says, my daughter took statistics in high school. As you can tell from tonight's show, Ping did not. Rachel, that's very funny. Even though it's not supposed to be funny. All right. No more statistics. All right. We've got other stories to get through tonight, including Krystal Cain. You have to hear about this. So, here, I'll see if I can actually, we'll do it this way. All right. I'm going to take you back to the 12th of January 2022 at a press conference for a missing child, Krystal Cain. She was aged 14 years old. I actually cannot believe that her family had to wait so long for this, but I do have some good news I'll share with you at the end of this.
Folks, I'm here today to speak about the missing child, in fact, at Boobergen, Krystal Cain, 14 years of age. At approximately 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, the 8th of January 2022, the missing child, Krystal Cain, was travelling with her father northbound on the Burnett Highway in the vicinity of Boobergen. The car they were in has entered floodwaters, which has swept their vehicle off the road. The father subsequently contacted O, stating that he and his daughter were stuck in floodwaters with the car filling up with water. Both have then exited their vehicle and have been separated, clinging to nearby vegetation. Emergency services were immediately deployed, including police and Queensland Fire and Emergency Services swift water operators. These officers were unable to immediately reach the scene due to heavily impacted roads, which included widespread flooding and landslides. Air assets were subsequently deployed, including helicopters. They were also initially unable to get close to the scene due to the dangerous unfolding weather event. Several witness calls to AAA were received, stating that a male person could be heard yelling for help. Further, that 2 persons were in the creek, with one in a tree and one in the paddock. A later call was received stating that a young girl could be seen being swept away by floodwater. After several helicopter attempts, the father was rescued, being winched from the tree that he had clung to for several hours around 12 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. However, the missing child was not observed by rescue crews at that time. The father was subsequently transported to Bundaberg Hospital with injuries following this rescue. QPS and Queensland Fire and Emergency Services officers were unable to access the search area until the following afternoon on Sunday at approximately 2 p.m. Officers were actually required to traverse flooded creeks and heavily damaged roads impacted by landslides. In some areas, the water was up to 10 metres deep. Police and fire and emergency officers showed tenacity and bravery just getting to the scene of this horrible incident. In the preceding time between when the father was rescued and when police and fire officers were able to access the scene, multiple passes of the search area were conducted by helicopter in an attempt to locate the missing child. Since then, the search effort has been detailed and extensive, including the QPS Search and Rescue State Coordinator, 24 SES officers, 12 Queensland Fire and Emergency Services officers, including 8 swiftwater rescue operators, 2 SES boat teams, and 18 police, including a water police team and 8 specialist police divers conducting patrols and searches from the missing child's last seen location through to an area approximately 10 kilometres in radius on the Banara Creek. The searching is slow and incredibly difficult due to the terrain and the damage from floodwater. By late afternoon on Monday, water levels had dropped enough and swiftwater teams were able to start swimming the still swollen creeks. Patrols by horseback and all-terrain vehicle have also been deployed and were all that were possible on the western side of Banara Creek.
So I'm going to leave it there. They never found her after that day. 2 years would go by until they finally located a set of human remains, actually found by hunters. Isn't that surprising that some hunters found it? But they did. They found human remains that were end up being confirmed to be hers. The story behind this is harrowing. This is her dad here. This is her dad, Lenny. And their car became stranded in floodwaters. Her father tried to do everything he could to save her. He tried to push her up a tree, and the story he tells, for some reason they got separated after he tried to save her from the floodwater, and he actually snapped his elbow in half trying to keep her up the tree and to keep himself out of the water. He smashed his face on something and he broke all the teeth in his face. I think he cracked his jaw too. So he was busted up and he did all that to try and save his daughter. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. She ended up getting swept into the floodwater. They couldn't find her, and it would take 2 more years for them to locate her remains. Only 500 meters from the original search area, and they were able to locate her. But now she's able to go home to her dad and the rest of the family. This is her. What a cute little girl, right? See here. The year 9 student was pulled from the car by her dad, who tied an extension cord around them. They clung to one tree for 6 hours before the branches snapped and they were swept to another tree. They were then swept to a third tree where the father was trapped underwater. When he resurfaced, his daughter was gone. And that would be the last time he would ever see his lovely daughter, unfortunately. But they're saying here He told the Daily Mail on Thursday that human remains discovered around a month and a half ago have now been confirmed to be Krystal's after forensic testing has taken place. The teen's body is now at a funeral home as her family organized arrangements for a fitting farewell to be held on January 10th in Bundaberg. I'm glad they finally found her, and her dad tried everything he knew to keep her safe. And I don't know what it would be like to live with that. You know, I'm sure he feels a lot of guilt that he survived and he couldn't get his daughter to the same place. And you know, I hope everyone surrounds their family, and this funeral on January 10 is amazing. I hope everyone in Bundaberg and surrounding, if they're invited, if it's a public one, I hope everyone turns out and just wraps their arms around the family. Even 2 years later, they still need the support. So I hope they do. Yeah, they did. She just looked like a great young girl who, you know, didn't, you know, what an awful situation, you know. They said they searched around 10 kilometers of farms and bushland for 2 weeks, and they never found her. They're saying that her father said pig hunters made the discovery of skeletal remains in late October, just 500 meters away from the original search zone. They also said they found Krystal's clothing. They said which helped forensic teams match his daughter's remains. They say Mr. Cain described Krystal as amazing and a kind-hearted girl who was also a talented artist. Apparently, she loved doing English at school and she was very good at it, all of her subjects, but she wasn't one of these people who big noted herself. She was a quiet achiever. Whenever new children came to the school, she would be the one who walked them around and spent time with them. I hope people remember that as, when everyone was in a foreign place and needed a friend, that Krystal was there. And I hope in her final moments and goodbye on this earth that people come out and show her the same respect as well. I really do. I I, I hope so. That is awful. It's a really tragic story. It really is. That is true. Or mushroom hunters or hunters in general. It's awful. I've never heard of such a traumatic story. I remember when she went missing, and I thought, "Oh, they're gonna find her pretty quick," but it took them almost, over 2 years to find her. Let me see if I can find one of the original Floodwater to show you what it was like back then. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so the 56-year-old had most of his teeth knocked out, had a tooth lodged in his lung, and at one point was pinned underwater for about a minute and a half. And then he also snapped his elbow, trying to keep them above the water. So poor dude he came out of it in very bad condition, and he's lucky to be there too. Let me see if I can find the original news article for her. Not that one.
A 52-year-old man drowned when his boat capsized near Tyro. And the desperate search for a missing 14-year-old girl washed away by floodwaters west of Maryborough has entered its fourth day. The farmers who raised the alarm after hearing her father's cries have told how they frantically tried to help, taking turns keeping him in their sight until rescuers arrived by helicopter. Meg Bolton has the story.
A night filled with frantic cries for help.
I opened the window in the bathroom and I heard a man screaming.
Ken and Julie Thompson felt helpless after seeing the headlights of the father and daughter's car disappear after midnight last Friday.
We rang 000 back again. And they told us that the chopper was coming.
The conditions were treacherous.
It was raging. It was unbelievable. Unless you've seen it for yourself, you don't believe it. And I seen the car drive into the water on the corner. And I seen the lights hit the water. And there was no lights. And there was only hazard lights.
Lenny Cain and his daughter Krystal Cain were travelling to Agnes Waters to visit family when their car was washed away. The Thompsons did all they could.
We seen him in the tree.
We
We thought he was safe.
Like, because
He was holding on.
For hours, they watched and listened, directing the RACQ care flight crew to Mr. Cain.
They took 2 attempts and they got him on the 2nd attempt.
Floodwaters were raging more than 3 metres high when they swept the man through this paddock. The 53-year-old is recovering from pneumonia and broken bones. He was released from hospital this morning, supported by his family.
Hope for the teenager is fading fast.
To this point, there has been an extraordinary amount of searching going on for that child.
Meanwhile, a man has died after his boat capsized in floodwaters in Queensland's Fraser Coast this morning.
So you can see just how bad the conditions were at the time, and they even had to rescue him via helicopter because there was no other way to get to him because of the floodwater. Unfortunately, yeah, it's really, really sad. Yeah, I think it was their property, but it was so flooded, everything that got swept onto it. I mean, you couldn't tell where the property started and the road ended and where this was. It was all water, like a lake. So, I'm glad they found Krystal. I'm very glad they found her and located her now. And they can give her a send off and remember what she was like. Hopefully we'll see some photos from that. It'd be nice to see her farewell from everyone. Rachel says, water is so powerful and destructive. It's the #1 killer, even in hurricanes. It is the water that will get you. Gayla says, the fact the little girl had been so close for so long, it happens quite frequently, especially with missing person cases or people who go missing for some reason. They're often found just outside of the original search area. It happens all the time. I've read so many stories on this channel of people being located like, hey, just 200 feet outside of where they were searching. Oh, they were just over there, but they were searching over here. It happens all the time, unfortunately. It's sad that she had to be out there for almost 2 years, though. I don't think anyone wishes that for anyone to be left out in the bushland to waste away is the kindest way to put it. Yeah, I can't imagine what her dad went through. I hope he writes something about it so it can warn other people about floodwaters and how bad it can be. Yeah, I'm just trying to go back to the other photos of her. Yeah, I'll put this out. It's much nicer to look at them like that with her dad. But yeah, glad I read that today that they did have now forensically confirmed it is her. That is good news. All right. No, we're not going to do that one. We're not going to do that one either. All right. Not that one. Okay. Give me 1 second. I have to load the other one. Charles Roma. Here we go. So we're going to go to NBC News.
Authorities excavate this Lincoln Continental after it was discovered just days ago submerged in an unassuming Georgia pond right off one of the East Coast's busiest highways. Inside, human remains and the first potential clues in decades into the disappearance of Charles and Catherine Romer.
She was one of those grandmothers who made everyone feel special.
Their granddaughter, Christine, was just 15 years old when the couple went missing. She tells us they were adored, especially Grandma.
She was very creative and talented, larger than life and life of the party and just wonderful, wonderful woman.
The retired wealthy oil executive and his wife vanished on a road trip from Miami Beach to their home in New York back in 1980. The couple reportedly checked into this hotel just steps from the pond and never showed up for checkout.
Search and rescue. We're looking for them, and scuba divers searching all the swamp area.
At the time, police suspected foul play. Catherine had vanished wearing about $81,000 worth of jewelry.
It was sort of considered a violent ending to their life, that it was a robbery that went terribly wrong. We had to watch our father really suffer.
Decades later, volunteer sleuths armed with new technology revived the case.
We specialize in working cold cases of people that went missing in their vehicles.
Volunteer divers John Martin and his brother Mike say last week they received a tip from fellow explorers that the roamer's car could be in the pond. They decided to dive in and find out.
I found an open window, reached in the open window to feel around. I had my hand on the seat and I could feel several hard objects. And I just grabbed the biggest hard object I could feel, came to the surface of the water, and it happened to be a femur bone in my hand. All
That would be very freaky to pick up a femur bone, but they're still not sure what happened here. So there's two theories. One is that they were staying at a hotel just on the other side of the lake. They're not sure if they took a wrong turn and then ended up in the lake, like, late at night or something. Or someone killed them to take their jewelry, which was worth like 80 grand. And apparently that was a lot of money back then. Like 80 grand was like, $500,000 today. So they still don't know. And I don't know if they found any jewelry. I saw the thing they had laid out. I'll show it to you. Let me see if I can find, you could see it on a blanket. I'm just trying to see if I can, where is it? Hold on, guys. Here, there was like a blanket they put out with like different items. There's the car, if you haven't seen it. Do they have a photo of that blanket? No? There's the two of them from back in the day. And there's the car. Just give me a second if I can find it. Charles Romer. Here. It was a different article. All right, here. So these were the things they found. But I don't see any jewelry here, do you? Like, I mean, maybe it's in the mud or the silt, but I don't see any jewelry in this photo, at least not yet. Yeah, so yeah, no jewelry in that photo that I can see. In the middle of the page. This thing, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that is rope from one of the bags or something. I don't know if that's jewelry. It doesn't look like it. So you can see this was a belt, and that's all that's left is the belt buckle and then part of the belt. This looks like a tube of something. I don't know what that is. This looks like a bag. Maybe like a handbag. This might be rope. I don't think this is jewelry. It doesn't look like it. It looks like string or rope. This also doesn't look like much, but hey, it's been in mud for 40 years. It could be in there somewhere, or it's still in the mud. They might have to like do what the excavation people do, and they have to sift it with a archaeologists do when they sift like mud and silt and to find fossils. They may have to do the same thing to see if the jewelry is there. Yeah. So very interesting to still not know. There's what the car looked like. I don't know if they pumped that swamp. It kind of looks like it. Looks like they used a pump to lower the water level. And you can see that Continental, which a Continental is a big car. It's huge. It's been there for forever. With these cases where the car is in the water, it always staggers me that no one in 40 years has tried to swim in the water and noticed that there was a car, or no one cut themselves on the metal or something like that. I always find that interesting. Right, one of those. Yep, exactly. We don't know whether if it's a robbery or an accident. Both seem very plausible. Glitter says, I think in lake water it's so dark and dirty that people don't usually swim to the bottom. True. True, that is true. Oh my god, Mrs. Ping, what are you doing? Hmm. Alright, there we go. Glitter said it's like the body they found on JP's land. That freaks me out, completely wild. I can't understand that the FBI was in there because of that, or if they found her during. True. There was also someone today I saw, they reckon they found, or they know who, the guy who parachuted from the plane and took the money. They reckon they know who it is now. I don't know if you guys have all seen that. Yeah, she is. That's exactly what's happening. Um, yeah, DB Cooper. Apparently, they're saying they know who that is now. I don't know if you've all seen this recently, but they're saying that children of a couple came forward now saying they believe that it's their parents. Here, I'll take you to Fox 13 in Seattle.
The identity of the person behind a 53-year-old hijacking mystery could soon be solved thanks to new evidence. Back in 1971, the man famously known as D.B. Cooper hijacked a Portland to Seattle flight saying he had a bomb. He demanded 4 parachutes and $200,000 in cash, and then he jumped out of the plane with the ransom money over Southwest Washington. To this day, no one knows what happened to him after he jumped.
The FBI closed the case back in 2016, but might informally look at the piece of evidence that's recently come to light. According to the Cowboy State Daily, 2 years ago, D.B. Cooper's sleuth Dan Grider found a parachute on a North Carolina property belonging to a man named Richard McCoy II. McCoy is known for pulling off an almost identical heist. Just 5 months later, over Utah, he was arrested for that skyjacking, but he broke out of prison 2 years into his 45-year sentence and was killed in a police shootout. Grider believes the parachute found on the McCoy property is one of the 4 involved in the heist. McCoy's children tell Cowboy State Daily they have long suspected their father was D.B. Cooper.
Yeah, isn't that cool that they think that it might be solved if they can dig up these bodies and do a proper DNA comparison. I think it's so I'm very picky with dumplings. There's a lot that to me taste like ravioli I don't like the ones that taste like ravioli. Like the wrapper on the outside is very thick. I don't like that. They taste gluggy to me. That's not my thing. But they make these Korean dumplings that are so good, and they're on special this week. Apparently you guys have them at Walmart. It's these ones. I'll have to load the photo. These ones here. This brand, Mandu. These ones are so good. They have them in Australia at the moment. But these ones have such a delicate wrapper, and they got a lot of filling on the inside, but these are so good. I ate about 10 of these last night with my dinner. I like these ones, but these ones are good. Buy them all, stock up while reduced. I know, I think they're $4. They're normally $9. $9 a packet here. Pot sticker, yeah, that's what they call them in America. Pot stickers. Glitter says, I like those ones better too because they could be crispy. Yeah, they're really good. I also like pork bun, but we have to go to the Asian store to get good pork bun. Yeah, we don't call them that here. In Australia, they're just called dumplings. Like, we just call them dumplings. That's it. They're either called like gyoza or hagro or dumpling. No one calls them a pot sticker. I only know that from American shows and that. Yeah, and I eat a lot. So I can eat a whole packet of one of those in one go. So normally I have like vegetables, dumplings, a couple of eggs, and then rice and chili oil because I like chili oil. Glitter says, when I hear dumpling, I think of big, thick, doughy chunks of dough like chicken dumplings. Yeah, these are Asian dumplings. So yeah, we had fried ones when we went to an Asian restaurant for a family member's birthday about a month ago, and we had fried dumplings. We had Shanghai dumpling, which is soup dumpling, and we had fried pork bun, which was so good. It's so good when it's fried, but I'm trying to keep my weight down, everyone. I can't pronounce that. You're gonna have to tell me the phonetic way of pronouncing it. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what she's talking about. She's she's getting frustrated at the supermarket that she's at. She's like, this stupid supermarket, they never have any stock because I wanted kimchi and I wanted bulgogi ones, but they don't have the one you're seeing on the screen. They don't have it. They've only got the kimchi, which is fine. I like kimchi, but I want 2 of each. And she's like, I'm so frustrated. They don't have any stock of anything. She goes, they don't even have eggs here. So apparently there's an egg shortage in Victoria. So getting a pack of eggs is very difficult. She's like, they only have this one brand. So I'm like, just leave it. Come here. I'll go with you after I finish the show and I'll help you. So, no, I can't do that. Glitter says I can order stuff from Japanese grocery stores. Yeah, that sounds good. They have the steamed dumpling same brand at Walmart. We just put these ones in the steamer. We don't put them in the frying pan. We just put them in the steamer and they're fine. I think you can steam it. Here, let's have a look. Let's go to the brand name. Do you guys have the sushi? This same brand makes sushi as well, frozen sushi. It's pretty good. I buy it sometimes when it's on special. You guys don't have it. They have a sushi that they sell that is you get 2 rolls. No, you get 1 in a pack. Here, I'll show you. I think I've shown it before. Or gimbap or whatever they call it. Gimbap. Yeah, these. Here we go. So when these are $4 instead of $9, I buy them too for lunch. There you go. The tuna mayo is not that good. This one, the bulgogi one, is much better. This one is much better. The tuna mayo is okay. It's okay. It's not very nice tuna, but this one's much better. So I don't know if you guys ever get that, but you don't want frozen sushi. Why not? Yeah, we don't have Amazon Fresh. Amazon Fresh is not a thing here. We don't have it. It's not like we have Amazon, but we don't have the one where they give you the shopping and the fresh food and that. We don't have that here. It's beef. Bulgogi is normally beef. This is maybe tuna mayo. That's like tuna out of a can. This is beef, like fried beef. That's it. You have an egg shortage in California too, really? We have one here. I can show you something. Hold on, where is it? Vic. Emergency. So I'll show you. Oh, Mrs. Ping. I swear to God, if you weren't so hot, just here. See here, it says animal disease, stay informed. And it says avian influenza is highly contagious. So apparently this is where our eggs come from, or at least a lot of them do. So out here, there's a lot of chicken farms in Victoria, where I live. And right now, they trying to get eggs right now because they keep having to kill the chickens. So a lot of the chickens have been killed to try and get rid of the avian influenza. But unfortunately, it's still around. This has been going on for like 9 months, and we've still been having a lot of problems trying to get more eggs. So it goes in sort of like cycles. We will have it for ages, no worries. You'll be able to get eggs all the time. Then all of a sudden, you can't get them for some reason. And right now, we're sort of going through a period where we can't get them. But a whole bunch of chickens were killed. I think like 1 million chickens were killed at different farms in Australia to try and get rid of the bird flu. Yeah, thank goodness. I can't even get a pack of eggs. I tried to get one. Mrs. Ping tried to get one for me, and she couldn't get it. Glitter said that's a good reason you need to get that PO box thrown so we can send you cool snacks. Yeah, it is something we're working on. Unfortunately, due to the wedding and just everything going on right now, I'm so burnt out with everything. It's like the last thing on my list. We have one, but we did something wrong with setting it up. I don't want to say what it is, but we did something incorrect, and yeah, we can't use that one. We got to get a different one. So I will get one because I know there's a lot of people who want to send like Christmas stuff, and which is very kind. I appreciate it, but it just has to wait. Glitter says, "Do you guys have egg beaters in a carton?" The hell is an egg beater? What do you mean in a carton? Haha. What do you mean an egg beater in a carton? I don't know what that is. We don't have an egg beater in a carton. Yeah. Yeah, give me a form with stuff I have to fill in, and I'm not very good with it. Give me an aircon, I can fix it in 10 minutes. Give me a woman, it's 30 years later, I still don't know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out one day. One day. What the hell is an egg beater? All right, I'm going to look this up because I don't know what this is. Egg beater. Oh, okay. Yeah, we do have this, but um, it's not super popular here. It's not like you can get it. There are a couple of brands that sell it, but it's not. Yeah, it's just not super popular in Australia. But there is a company who makes it. Yeah, you can buy it, but it's not. Australians are not used to using pre-cracked eggs. It's not something it's been done here very often. So Australians are used to just buying eggs off the shelf and cracking them. Like buying something that's already been pre-opened is not in our like in our DNA. We're very simple people in Australia. We're just like, we want some eggs, please. We don't want this. Australians are funny about fresh food. They just, yeah, anything that seems to be processed or reopened or it's not a thing that we do. I mean, some people will, but not a ton here. Yeah, I'm telling you, we can get it. I've seen it, but it's expensive. It's very pricey. Here I'll show you. Eggs, liquid. If it'll load and tell me the price. Free range liquid egg. It's expensive compared to a pack of eggs. I can't tell you. They're all out of stock right now, but there's a few that make it here. I'll show you a photo. Oh, come on. There we go. How do I get back to chat? Here we go. So that's your brand, Egg Beater. One of our big brands here is called Sunny Queen. This is the one that we can get here. But I'm pretty sure that half a kilo of ready to pour egg mix is about $9, something like that. It's not cheap. Yeah, it's not a thing we do here very often. Americans have cartons of stock, we don't, yeah. Yeah, we're a bit funny with our fresh food as well. Yeah, so here you can see we can get it. It's just not, I don't know. I've never bought it. All right. All right, I think we're almost. By the way, I want to say hello to my friend Peekaboo Cockatiel. Thank you for the email. I'm glad your Lions won today, but I have some disappointing news to tell you. You know that your Lions are only good this year because the 49ers are not. And that if the 49ers were as good as last year, like everyone would be in trouble. The entire NFC would be bowing down to the 49ers. So have fun on the 1 year where the 49ers are no good, that they're having an off year, because we went to the Super Bowl. So, you know those, right? Lions fans, you remember. Oh, did you ever go to the Super Bowl? No, I can't remember. Rachel says, nope, not buying eggs, not in a shell. Exactly, see? Ruby says, I can see how it'd be good to reduce waste. If a shell is wonky or too big or too small, they can't sell it. That's true. Like, if there's any, like, not quite right eggs, they can turn it into that product. 4 to 7, a dozen free-range eggs in Australia, about $10. About $10 to $12 right now. Angela says America has way more things already to make your life easier in the kitchen. That's true. Hey, Sean, good to see you. Hope you had a fun holiday over the last couple of weeks. I hope you did. All right, I have to wind down the show for tonight, guys. I hope it was a fun show. I don't know what we're going to do with the show times. I tried to change it to mornings only. Everyone complained. I changed it to late show only, and only half the people showed up. So it's like I can't win. It's like I can't win. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm at sort of a wit's end with it. But hey, we still have that competition going on. I've been keeping track of all the names and all the entries. So when we head to Tasmania, I'm taking that list in my email. So we're going to be drawing it the day after we get to Tasmania. We'll be drawing that draw for that limited edition hoodie. So we'll be drawing then. I hope to have sample photos for you very shortly. Stupid company keeps making excuses as to why they haven't done it yet. Sean says, I just received $50 of supermarket rejected fruit and veg from the farm. Good work. I know, but there's some economics that, have to make sense to. Oh, that's sad. He'll be back. Will he come back for Christmas or no Christmas? Not going to see Dad for Christmas? I hope so. All right. All right, Christmas people. All right. I have to get out of here. But I love you all very much. I'll be back tomorrow. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Those links to that promotion are in the description, by the way, for people who would like to do it. They haven't been there all week because I kept forgetting. So they're in the bottom. Thank you, Glitter. It's very kind. I appreciate it. It's very kind of the super chat. That came up bright red for some reason, but thank you. What? I didn't swear, did I? Wait, I didn't swear. I didn't swear. Not this time. I didn't swear. It wasn't this time. Laura T says, thanks, Ping. Hugs to Mrs. Ping. Yeah, she's about 5 minutes away. I got to go see her. Wait, that's not swearing. That's not swearing. Thank you, Glitter. I appreciate it, my sweet friend. You're very kind. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow's Friday, so we'll do something for Friday. Oh, it's Black Friday. Is that what they call it? I thought they were trying to get rid of that name because it was like mean to black people or something. Yeah, bye, Glitter. Bye. Bye. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Friday shopping day that has a color. All right? Some random color shopping day after Thanksgiving. I'll see you then for that. Peace out. Good night. Bye-bye. Sorry I'm making you hungry, Khaliza. Bye.